Hello Internet, Joshua Thomas here. You see the title of the video, so you know what this is. This is my director's commentary on episode 2 of Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the real world, the Maid. The very first episode that Alex Ponzi joins the fray. A couple other things about this episode. It premiered on September 25th, 2016. I can't believe that it's been that long, and also, it just passed over 8 million views. I never thought that it would get the notoriety that it did, that it would get the views and exposure that it did. I'm so grateful because this is my baby, guys. 8 million views? So it's very appropriate to do this commentary. I know a lot of you are waiting for episode 6, but please keep sharing the show. We need to get episode 5 up to at least 1 million. I mean, these other episodes, 8 million views on episode 2, and episode 5 is under 100,000. No idea what's going on, but thank you to everyone who's watched the show, supported the show, become fans of Just Giggle It from it, and we can't thank you enough. If I can run you through the things I do on the show, they would be, let's see, director, writer, the producer, the editor. I play the Joker. Gotten crafts, obviously. I've done wardrobe, I've done props, I've been my own PA, I've shot certain scenes. I've done everything there is to do on this show. Most of the time, I'm doing many things at the same time. I also have an amazing group of people when we're shooting that help out, and they're awesome, like Piper Hinson, who plays Addison, Alex Ponzi, who plays Howie, Katie Garland, who plays Carmela, Daryl Delaney, who shot every single episode. My Harley Quinns, Brianna Oppenheimer and Nicole Dubois, they're both amazing. Today we're gonna take a look back at Brianna's performance in episode 2. But yeah, so I do a lot on the show, bottom line is what I'm trying to say. And it was, you know, even though I had that support system, which was awesome, when we weren't shooting, this was my life. For a long time, guys, and especially editing. It would take me a long time to edit these episodes. So, you know, I'm doing it all solo. So I want you guys to understand that, you know, this is, as much as you love the show, be reasonable and understand, hopefully, why there is a delay in the episodes coming out. But, again, if we can get episode 5 up to 1 million, then I promise you, we will do episode 6, okay? I wanted to do more of these with like more of the cast and stuff. It just hasn't worked out, but I didn't want to dilly-dally any longer. All right, I have been rambling long enough, so let's get into it. 8 million views. Good God. Episode 2, Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the real world. Let's do this. I haven't seen this in a while, so this is gonna be kind of a fresh look of this, and all right, let's do it. 3, 2, 1, and... So obviously we start off with car shots, as well as, you know, just showing Los Angeles. Episode 1's over, so, you know, now we're in the world, this new city that they're in, and I wanted to kind of just give that vibe. A lot of this is from the Valley where I lived personally, so I lived in Burbank for a lot of the time when we shot this, so this is around Burbank, North Hollywood, the Valley of Los Angeles. And then we cut inside. So this is actually Piper Hinson's car that we're driving right now, the Toyota Prius. And, you know, so that's what's so cool about the show. It's very organic. I would write things into it as our limitations required or as, you know, what we had to do. So we had a Prius, so I wrote the Prius into the episode. Oh, the list. And Brianna. Man, this is crazy. So yeah, so I mean, I wrote that whole list for her to go through. Brianna wrote the list out. She made that prop herself, which is a cool little fun fact. And this was all improvised. All the riffs back from me to the list was just improvised right at the top. So if you can fathom, like I told you, I do a lot of things. I remember how crazy this was because I was driving, acting, and directing at the same time as the Joker. But just that driving aspect, driving in Los Angeles already is so anxiety driven. So doing it in character while you're trying to get shots is insanity. Oh, it's so hard to like keep up with these jokes. I love that backup camera. Another improvised line because it popped up and I was like, oh, nice.
Dead.
Did he just take our spot?
I think he just did.
Okay, so
Some hand motion like we were about to walk here. Are you insane?
just this, I had so much fun coming up with the, you know, just that dialogue that Harley and Joker have with each other, like the shorthand that you have with your best friend or your girlfriend or boyfriend. And I wanted them to have that, like, just how fast they can talk to each other when they're not fighting. They can be on the same page immediately. She's just following orders. This is such a fun scene.
Well then,
Rome is about to be overthrown. Yeah. People like dog me back in Just Giggle It before this show, before the series, that I would laugh at my own writing. And I would say, duh, why are you writing things that you don't find funny if you're writing comedy? So obviously I enjoy my writings. This is Brent Bailey in his Mercedes-Benz that we end up bringing back in episode 5. We brought back the same car.
Get out of here, you freaks!
Uh-oh.
And this is setting up the fact that freaks is going to be his trigger word for this Joker. Wrong choice of words is what he says before he kills somebody. So just kind of trying to set up, if you're catching on from episode 1, like the little gags that carry on through each
You know
episode.
what I love more than anything?
Water-based paints?
No.
The water-based paints line, I'm an improvised line from Brent, which was amazing and I had to keep in. Brent is a very accomplished actor too. I was very surprised that he did this with us. Like, he's coming out in the new LBJ movie. He does a ton of commercials and TV shows, so it was really cool for him to do us a solid and be in this with us. And then boom, yeah. And we got I remember also wanting to get a murder out of the way right off the bat, so you weren't waiting for it or expecting it in the episode. You like, it just happened. And here we go, Alex Poncio, Howie the Meter Maid. This is crazy, just how far his character has come in such a short time.
Paid until 5 o'clock.
She's right. We paid till 5.
It's 5:02.
Oh, I also scored the show. Like, the editing has a lot in the process. One of those processes is scoring it to a lot of this, you know, hip hop that you'll hear in the show. And I specifically, when I screened this for Alex and his sister, Lizzie Poncio, and also Corey, who played Frank, because they're just my, you know, best friends. They were at my house. They were watching the screening of this episode, and I had just done the music. I was so like, oh, I wanted to know what they thought of the music. It was just, the music was so big in my head. And afterwards, I asked them about it, and they said, oh, it was, like, I was like, was it distracting, the hip hop and all that? And they said, no, you know, you've created the vibe of what your show is. And I carried that on through every episode. And I feel that the scoring is a huge part of the episode. The music drives it, especially in episode 4. But I try to do it from here. All these great parts. Boom. That is Sam. He is my Easter egg. I try to put him in as many episodes as I can. He is getting a ticket here. You can see him as a beer pong guy in episode 4. You can see him at the pool in episode 5. So he has been in many episodes already, and I will try to put him in many more. Oh, God, yeah. I don't know what song Alex was singing. I was so happy with how this turned out. And then we cut in here. This was, oh my God, this was such a chaotic scene to shoot, because originally we were supposed to shoot at Brianna's house, and then we got kicked out of her apartment because we couldn't shoot there. And our wonderful makeup artist, Susan Jones, saved the day and said, you know what, you can shoot at my laundromat. So we drove across town and set up here and got it done. And look at that makeup job on Howie. It looks so good. People ask in comments all the time, is the blood real? Poor Howie. Is this real? Like, I know there's a lot of kids on YouTube, but guys, this is a show. The Joker and Harley are characters. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I hope that this answers your question. Howie's fine, guys.
That's it. That's the only reason I have this job. Please, I'm not gonna tell anybody anything, obviously.
I love what Brianna did in this scene, just with like her side stuff. Just because they fight so much, the Joker and Harley. This was a great episode to have them on the same team still, and just like. They don't need to fight. They're having so much fun just in this dynamic together. Even the sunglasses, I totally forgot about that. Kablowie Howie, what they're laughing their heads off over right now. That is why Howie's name is Howie, for that joke. For Kablowie Howie. That is literally why his character name was that, for that joke. So I hope it was worth it. We wanted to make shirts, and actually, fun fact, there are shirts. You can get a Kablowie Howie shirt right now on justgiggleit.com.
Get out of here.
Help! Help!
That was another cool moment. Harley just getting to be serious for a second and really getting into Alex's face.
What? Oh, look, man. I'll tear up that ticket.
I've known Alex for so many years. I wrote this for him. And he destroyed it. He killed it. He was so good. And obviously, like, I know his voice. I know he can do that squirmy, screamy, like, complaining, whining. Like, yeah, come on, man. And, yeah, I knew it was going to be great.
Aw, what you did there.
That was a Saw reference from the horror series franchise, Saw.
Sometimes you know exactly what to say. Now then, my friend Howie.
Oh, I love that timing. That was great. And also, again, showing the Joker and Harley lovey-dovey together. They're having so much fun in this dynamic of being the villains, So, this was like my perfect way to try and blend the Harley and Joker that you know and the Harley and Joker that I'm trying to create. The mundanity, the average Joes, because they're just getting a parking ticket. But they're doing their classic Harley Joker stuff in reaction to that parking ticket.
Particular dryer goes off.
Kablowie Howie.
So
There it is.
out in 2 minutes.
Kablowie
Where
Howie.
you have quarters in your pocket.
Why are you doing this to me?
Well, it's very simple. Here's the thing about me.
And
Yes, it's
you,
true. I'm a bad guy.
I tried to also make sure that there is such a fine balance in the show. Yes, it's a comedy. Just Giggle It is a comedy YouTube channel. That punch, oh my god, came out so great. That's what people especially think is real.
Come along, Harley.
That looks so
Let's
good.
leave Howie.
But what I was saying is, in the first episode you have Frank, you have the drama, you have that seriousness, the bruise on her neck. In this episode you have like the reality of, we're playing it, yeah, we're silly and goofing off, but Howie is playing it so real in his reactions that is the beauty of the show. That we can just, go crazy over the top comedy and then bring it into a real moment because they're in the real world. So what happens when you give someone 2 minutes to live? It's not like a fun animated Batman series where
Yeah.
I have to shut the hell up because Mrs. Erickson's on screen. Oh. This is Barbara Goodson, everybody. Barbara Goodson, who is the voice of Rita Repulsa from the original Power Rangers. So,
I was old Gerald.
our show, Harley Quinn and the Joker vs. the Real World, is linked to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers because of the wonderful Barbara Goodson.
That man is a fool.
That man is a fool, referring to her husband who won't have make love to Mrs. Erickson.
Yes.
I don't know where the idea came from, but so, we have Joker and Harley move to Los Angeles. They're in an apartment complex now. We don't know how much time exactly has passed since we last saw them, so I just thought it would be the funnest thing to have, like, what if the Joker befriended an old woman in the complex? That, like, just held the door open randomly, or she held it for him one day. Who knows how it sparked, but just... He is a very polite guy when he's not, even when he's trying to kill you. His manners are always on point. So it just made sense that an older woman would think he's a fine, outstanding gentleman who just
pleasure, Mrs.
you know, Maid has clown makeup on. And then Harley getting just a little jealous of Mrs. Erickson. Also, they did the Hipsters, which was the Juggalos joke, another continuation.
I got a soft spot for that old gal.
Exactly, can't tell you why.
Cookies again this morning.
Oatmeal raisin.
Yep.
There are so many takes of that because of laughter. Also, this was a happy accident. If you look at my eyes, the makeup in my eyes has never done this beautifully and this, like, light. And I thought it was almost perfect because it was like, oh, the Mrs. Erickson scene. He's not as dark and evil. It matched up so perfectly. This is a beautiful scene with Alex and Barbara.
Game with Jay.
Jay? That clown weirdo?
Yes, yes. Oh, God, this is so great. Just...
Oh, well, I can see Jay's friend.
one thing I just noticed is Alex Poncio's real-life glasses sitting on that furnace right there. So there's a fun mistake we made that now I just caught. But this was so great. Just like screaming, like the misunderstanding, the farce of it all. This is what I was trying to do.
I'm so sorry. I admit it. I enjoy writing.
And yeah, so building up to moments like this is what I was saying, is you can have the comedy, but you can have the reality and the seriousness that draws you in and makes you really care about the show. And it's not just, it doesn't matter, there's no stakes. There are many stakes. People can die in this show, and they have died. And it's a real death that we try to portray because we're trying to show you a different side, not only the Joker and Harley when they're not being bad guys, but also, you know, just the reality of the weight of what they do. Oh, this is great. You know, so much tweaking when it comes to moments like this in editing, getting the timing just right. And then that rigged up iPad with the duct tape. It looks so great, though. And Mrs. Erickson saved him. Yay. Okay, so a lot of people thought this was a continuity error. It's not. Harley and Joker are from, in my mind, the animated series or the comic book world. So they can break reality. They are not limited. They like came straight out of, you know, the DC world into our real world. So they have almost that cartoony vibe. In the first episode, they had popcorn out of nowhere. Now they're back to their outfits. So we don't always do it, but I kind of actually shied away from it a little bit just because people didn't get it in this one. And I think I did it again in episode 5, but yeah.
But see, Howie, it's not so hard.
I mean, and this is all just like the way we're shooting this because of how narrow it was in there. You know, we work with what we can and do it the best we can. So
Don't make me kill you.
I hate the way this was shot with like, we're like on a slant and Harley looks so much taller than me. It's crazy.
Howie, I believe you have something to say to Mrs. Erickson.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah?
You see, Mrs. Erickson, it was Howie's clothes in the dryer there.
God, there's so many ideas I have for Mrs. Erickson to bring her back. I really hope I get to.
And watch your mouth.
And then there's that like little evil side that you're like, oh, look at the Joker, look how he feels about her. So yeah, so that's kind of, we're wrapping up the episode a little bit here, getting towards the end of it. Here's the big cliffhanger. A lot of the comments say I should have, they thought, or they assumed that I was going to scratch out the get milk.
I mean, I could still kill.
And that's what I'm going to make Howie do for me, just get milk, you know? But the reason that it's not that is because my show, this show, I'm not always going for the joke. I care more about the story and the characters than anything. So I won't sacrifice these characters for a joke. I obviously try to make as many jokes work, but yeah. And then Harley untying him.
You work for me now.
And those eyes and the scratch off of start a new gang, because the gang is started. Howie is the first official member in the gang. And boom, there it is. Written and directed by me, baby. Daryl Delaney, Jason Ramlow also helped out in this episode. Lee Page, Quinn. Going through these credits like I'm on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Read the credits like you're hosting a party. Oh, welcome everybody! And of course, had to get Addison in there.
Hey, Addison, you want a cookie? I love one. Thank you. Oh.
And get to show the apartment, which is no longer there.
That milk.
Did she?
She did.
Fun little button.
Thank you for watching.
And then we do the classic subscribe takes.
And if you want to see the next episode early,
Showing some leg, obviously, on Brianna. Getting the, you know, sex sells, guys. You gotta be attracted to Harley Quinn. Totally believe that. And this is just always so fun to do these. You know, it just kind of encapsulates the episode, gets to show us having fun, goofing off. And the promise at the top of me lighting the car on fire is delivered upon. That was so weird to shoot this in broad daylight in front of an apartment, many apartment complexes, and just people driving by looking at me like a crazy person. So that's always so fun. I always love to watch the faces of the people who are watching us film.
Your car's on fire.
Boom. That's it, guys. And then I light Addison's Prius on fire, and wouldn't you know it, Piper in real life got a new Prius. So she has a now new Prius, different color, that we can use in upcoming episodes. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that commentary. Got a few, you know, little bits from me about the show, about that specific episode. I'm trying to think of anything else I missed while I was watching it. I know I couldn't go through each joke, but that's why you watch the show. I'm here mostly to give you as much insight as I can. Yeah, no, it's so fun, you know, watching Brianna do it again. It was a fun time, and it was such a specific character that she had, and you know, Nicole has now taken that character and morphed it into what she's doing with it. So it's a fun time. It's exciting, the things that I have in store for the show, for the characters and the ride I want to take you guys on. So please continue to support the show. I can't thank you enough for episode 2, 3, 4, 5, all of them, the whole channel. We all thank you, and until next time, later, guys.
That was so good. I'm Joshua Thomas, guys. Make sure you click subscribe right here, watch more videos, and I'll see you.